today's video we are going to be doing a little tutorial on how to draw Dragon Ball characters, or specifically how I draw Dragon Ball characters. And yeah, I don't want to delay this any longer, so let's get into it. Okay then guys, so with all of my characters I like to start with just circles, and then from there I just draw. That would be a great tutorial, wouldn't it? But no, as you can see here, I am just basically doing a basic circle with some lines up and down, and then I start pretty much all the time with the eyebrows. The eyebrows give me a good measurement on the face and where I should go from there. And as I do the face, I start to move down, and I do the nose, and I let everything else sort of come in line. From here I'll move down to the neck. I usually save the hair and the top of the head till the last bit, because it's quite an easy thing to do, and it all sort of measures up with everything else. And that's the key to how I draw. I pretty much use everything as a guide to itself. So I draw as free as I can, and I'm not afraid to really just jump straight onto the paper. As you see here, I'm just quickly sketching some lines, and they're actually coming out quite well. I didn't get to use an eraser here, and that all comes down to me just being free with the lines. I put a line down there carelessly, see how it goes, and because I'm using pencil it doesn't really matter. Just make sure you're working quite lightly with it, and yeah, let everything measure, let everything sort of line itself up. So when you get the nose, make sure you line the top of the nose up with the lower part of the ear, as you can see in the middle. What else can we say about it? The neck, for example, the neck will line up with itself. So if you look onto the far right of the neck, you can see that sort of where it goes, where it starts to sort of bear right and bear left under the gi. It sort of lines up with the chin, and these are things that you just got to keep in mind. Is just measure up everything that's going on right now, that's on the paper. And yeah, with the eyes, a little bit of a tip with the eyes. I would say start with, so let's just say you're right-handed. If you're right-handed, start with the left eye, and then do the right eye. If you're left-handed, do the right eye and then do the left eye. I just find this helps with getting the pupils in the correct locations and the right places. Yeah, it's just basically because your hand won't be covering, and I did sort of mess up a little bit there with the yinking. But yeah, your hand won't be covering the other pupil or the other eye. And moving on to Gohan. You can see here, I'm just sort of turning the angle a little bit. So I'm using 3 different characters here. I've used Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta for this drawing. And just to show you different angles and different characters' perspectives and how they're drawn. But the basis and the premise of each one is exactly the same. It's identical. As you can see, I do a circle, then about halfway down to the circle, I start on the eyebrows. From the eyebrows, I begin adding other features in. Now, the left-hand side of the face on Gohan, as you see here, is usually the bit I struggle with. It went quite well in this one, and the reason being is when I do the eyebrows, I move on to the nose, and when I do the nose, you can sort of figure out how far away the cheek, the left side cheek next to the nose should be from the nose. You can figure out how far away it should be, and then from there you can sort of work it out. And again, now it comes back to measurements. Once you get that good basis of the face, you can now measure everything and get things going. I didn't use many guidelines here, which if I was doing a heavy tutorial, I would have used loads of guidelines, but this was more of a drawing as an example of how to do things. Don't know what that noise was. But yeah, so regarding the hair, again, the hair sort of falls in line. Everything lines up with itself. Everything lines up where it should be. And that's pretty much all I can say about Gohan. Gonna start inking it in a second. I am adding some little shadows as well, just to sort of make it look a bit pretty. They're not really serious shadows or anything like this. This is not a serious drawing. This is more just to show you what the characters look like. So moving on to Vegeta now. Similar idea. This time I've done an oval because Vegeta's head is a little bit longer than the other characters, or at least the skin, the bit that's visible, is a little bit higher, a little bit longer, due to his, what do you call it, a widow's peak, the little V shape on his head. I don't know what it is, but yeah, that sort of gives his head a little bit of a elongated view. So with Vegeta, I start with the eyebrow and move on to the hair, and then again the rest of it all falls into place. So as you can see from these examples, I'm pretty much following the same premise as each one, and this is how I draw quickly, this is how I draw effectively. I don't need to use an eraser too much, but again, don't be shy with using an eraser. If you need to use one, then use one. my own preferences, I don't like to use them. That's not because I think it's cheap or anything like that, because if you need to use an eraser, use an eraser. Like, there's no shame in using one. It's just my own habit. I like to get it done first time, and using an eraser for me, it just feels dirty. I don't like to use it. But yeah, so I just jump into it, and the key is to be free. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. If you want a slow down tutorial, I might do one in the future. But yeah, take care guys. Bye bye.